Discover the 7 miraculous spiritual meanings behind ear-ringing. Prophetic messages revealed. Sarah sat at her well-worn dinner table, the familiar creaks of the wooden chairs echoing around her. The comforting scent of freshly baked bread filled the air as her 2 young children gathered around, their laughter like sacred music against the backdrop of the mundane world. But lately, an unsettling ringing had persisted in her ears. It felt like a divine whisper, nudging her towards something greater. Could it be stress? Or was it something more profound? She closed her eyes, letting the emotions wash over her, seeking solace in her prayer. As her family clasped hands, she felt a strange warmth enveloping her, as if a heavenly presence were urging her to dive deeper. With scriptures open before her, she stumbled upon a startling truth. Each sudden ring held spiritual significance. There were 7 meanings, each reflecting prophetic messages that could change not only her life, but also those around her. In her mind's eye, she could see visions. The first one showed a family finding peace amid chaos. The second revealed a friend receiving a much-needed financial blessing, just when despair threatened to consume them. Each miraculous moment unfolded like delicate petals of a flower blooming under the gentle caress of sunlight. It felt like a divine orchestra, playing melodies only she could hear. As Sarah shared this newfound wisdom with her family, Mark raised an eyebrow, skepticism dancing in his eyes. A bit of stress, love, don't you think? He chuckled uneasily, dismissing her revelations. That hesitant laugh lingered like a shadow in her heart, making her question the essence of what she had uncovered. Was she merely fabricating fanciful imaginings from desire? But soon, the landscape of their community began to shift. News spread like wildfire. Families began falling ill, and fear threaded through the tight-knit church community. As fear enveloped their lives, Sarah clung tightly to prayer, believing that these spiritual insights might be the light needed to combat the shadow looming over them. In a church hall filled with murmurs of concern, she led prayer sessions that sparkled with hope. And with every prayer lifted, small miracles began to unfold. People's headaches faded, a child's fever broke, and distant rumblings of community warmth grew stronger. Eyewitnesses from the church bore testimony, their whispers woven together in awe. Can it be? Is this connected to Sarah's claims? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet ridicule remained, and the weight of misunderstanding bore down on her, not just from Mark, but also from sweet friends she prayed with. They rolled their eyes, dismissing her insights. Was her heart meant to break further, or was this simply a test of faith? Then, just as hope began to flicker sturdily, the world trembled beneath them. Mark collapsed one evening, fear pinching at Sarah's chest like a vice grip. As he lay on their bed, eyes closed and breathing uneven, her heart cried out in fervent prayer. She clutched his hand, the energy swirling around them thick with suspense as she remembered the 7 spiritual truths she'd unearthed. What would they reveal? The air crackled with anticipation, leaving the community wondering whether miracles could truly manifest. Would her unwavering trust bring forth divine intervention, or would it lead to empty whispers amidst the gathering storm? Sarah's heart raced as she leaned over Mark, searching his face for signs of life. The peaceful atmosphere of their home felt shattered, replaced by an unsettling urgency. Tears brimmed in her eyes, yet she felt an odd sense of clarity. Was this the moment she had been waiting for? Silence filled the room, wrapping them in a blanket of reflection. She paused, letting the desperation fade slightly, replaced by a hopeful resolve. She remembered the stories, the dreamlike visions of miracles she had witnessed when the ringing filled her ears. With each encounter, she had felt a subtle shift in her heart. This was the time to embrace the truth she had discovered. She closed her eyes again, centering herself in prayer, confidently believing in the presence of God. The scriptures that lay open on the table seemed to beckon her now. She whispered softly, "Lord, give me strength. I need your guidance." In that moment, A sweet warmth enveloped her, sending shivers down her spine. A familiar ringing pierced through the silence, echoing gently in her ears. It was distinct like a heavenly bell chime. She opened her eyes, her vision clearer, as if the fog of uncertainty had lifted. "Mark," she whispered, "I believe in what you can't see." With a gentle squeeze of his hand, her breath steadied. She remembered the first spiritual meaning. When your ear rings, it's a sign that a holy presence is near. What if this wasn't just about Mark? What if this moment was calling upon the whole community to trust and believe again? Just then, the door creaked open, and their youngest son, Noah, peeked in. His round face reflected innocence and love. Seeing his father lying still turned his laughter into confusion. "Mommy, what's wrong with Dad?" Sarah's heart ached, trying to find the right words, but deep within, she felt a stirring. "Sweetheart," she said softly, kneeling before him and wiping her tears, "we're going to pray together. Can you do that for me?" Noah nodded, an unexpected sense of bravery filling his little chest. They clasped hands, Sarah, Noah, and still Mark's untouched one. As they began to pray, a hum of collective energy filled the air, a powerful wave of intention rising between them. In that sacred space, the ties of their love bound them together, unwavering in the storm. With each heartfelt plea emanating from her lips, Sarah felt warmth pooling in the room. The walls resonated with a deep frequency of prayer. It rippled outwards, connecting their home to the pulse of the entire community. Laughter and light seemed to seep into the shadows of fear that clung to them. But as they cried out for healing, for strength, Sarah envisioned the lives shimmering with hope. The ringing in her ears surged again, whispering words of comfort. She could see villagers gathering in prayer, some lifting their hands in unison, others kneeling, tears streaming down their faces. It was an awakening. With newfound confidence, she shared, "This is not just about us anymore. It's about our family, our friends, our community. We must believe together." Suddenly, the very air hummed with promise, and Mark's eyes fluttered open. A moment of hope shimmered between breaths, as if he were being pulled back from a distant shore. "Sarah," his voice was low, thick with confusion, yet laced with something deeper and newfound clarity, perhaps awakening in him too. What lay ahead seemed unclear, yet it felt strangely miraculous as flickers of courage surrounded them. As Sarah clasped her husband's hand with a renewed prayer, she couldn't shake the thought that something monumental was about to unfold. What would arise from this moment of prayer and faith? And just as that certainty melded with hope, ominous clouds rolled in from the horizon. The world outside seemed to be stirring. A new challenge was just ahead. What awaited them? Would their prayers hold against the winds of change? Hope surged within Sarah as she watched Mark blink slowly, his gaze searching. The world around them felt suspended in time, as if the very fabric of existence paused to bear witness to this awakening. Could it be that the call for prayer had reached deeper than they had imagined? Noah's small hand squeezed hers reassuringly. The innocence in his eyes shone like a candle in the darkness, igniting a flame that danced through the room. "Dad," he exclaimed, his voice carrying both delight and relief. In that moment, feelings crisscrossed the air, fear, love, hope all swirling into one. Mark's voice came again, thick with layers of emotion. "What happened?" Sarah found the breath she needed. "We prayed, Mark. We prayed together for you, for all of us. We're here, and God is with us." The words poured out, filled with both certainty and surprise. In the stillness that wrapped around them, the echo of the ringing whispered softly in her ears, guiding her thoughts. She considered the moments she had brushed with divine messages before. This was a collision of the sacred and the everyday. Their collective plea had woven something extraordinary, and each heartbeat within the room was an affirmation of faith. But outside, the deepening clouds were gathering weight, their shadows sliding into the corners of her vision. She felt a magnetic pull towards the window, an irresistible urge to witness the storm brewing beyond their threshold. What darkness was approaching? Would it stay? Would it sweep them away? "I feel something, a darkness," she murmured, turning back to Mark. "But there's also light. We need to stand firm." Mark's brow furrowed deeply, an intensity painting his features. "What is it, Sarah? What are you seeing?" He strained to sit up, his once feeble voice growing stronger. Hope stirred, a bright ember fighting against the brewing shadow. It's a split between the old and the new, she replied, sharing fervently from her heart. This moment is just the beginning. The community must learn to trust again, to reclaim their beliefs amid rising storms. Noah leaned closer, wide-eyed. Are we going to help the village? Yes, Sarah spoke with conviction. We'll gather our friends, share this miracle, show them that faith can brighten the darkest of days. Together, we can stand as beacons. The air tingled, seems to shimmer with possibility. As a family, they recited a prayer of protection, envisioning surrounding a circle of light, a sanctuary amid the rising tide. A feeling of unity swelled around them, swelling as it reached beyond the confines of their home, but time was pressing. The first rumblings of thunder rolled, low and ominous, behind the heavy veil of clouds. Would the community listen? Would their efforts be enough to withstand the storm? Suddenly, a sharp crack of lightning illuminated the room, and in its wake came a realization, a calling. There was more to this than just their family's struggle. This was a challenge meant for all. Silence, Mark whispered, as the ringing in Sarah's ears began to crescendo, a divine symphony vibrating with urgency. What does it mean? The strength of their prayers had drawn forth something greater, and Sarah stood rendered with reverence. She must share what this presence meant. A voice pushed at the corners of her mind, beckoning her to proclaim the prophecies hidden within the storm. An inexplicable stillness settled over them, urging Sarah to speak, to step into the divine unknown. What unfolded could reshape their lives and everyone around them. Gather all. There's a calling, she said firmly, her spirit rekindled with fire. A vision emerged, vibrant and clear in her mind, but the details were quagmired in revelation sometimes. Beliefs must be tested. Now, as they prepared to face what lay ahead, Sarah felt a deep certainty that something monumental would come from this gathering. An echo of ancient truths whispered to her about the heart of God manifesting through their coming trials. And yet, the unknown quickened her pulse. Would their faith be strong enough? What awaited them in this storm? What miracles did the ringing promise? As the thunder cracked once more, a shiver of anticipation ran through her. The winds would rise, but so would they together. The air thickened with expectancy, each heartbeat echoing the pulse of a world on the brink of change. Sarah's mind raced with the whispers of her spirit, urging her to be the voice that sparked unity. She glanced between Mark and Noah, their faces illuminated with determination, and realized this was not merely a call to action, but a divine invitation. Let us go outside, she urged. We need to be with everyone. Mark nodded, and with renewed strength, he swung his legs off the bed, the thin blanket sliding from his shoulders. A flicker of doubt crossed his face, but Sarah took his hand firmly. Noah trotted ahead, a half-step dance fueling his excitement. The promise of something magnificent lit his eyes, reminding Sarah how pure faith could transform fear into courage. The door creaked open to a world shrouded in darkening skies. Yet there was still a trace of light, golden hues clung around the edges of the clouds, a promise waiting to unravel. They stepped into the chill, shimmers of anticipation wrapping around them like a protective cloak. The deep rumble of thunder became a distant serenade to their mission, a reminder of the power they could harness together. As they made their way through the village, Sarah felt the air vibrate with unseen energy, as if the very ground beneath them held its breath. People began to emerge from their homes, drawn by something intuitive, something warm tugging at their hearts despite the looming storm. Murmurs floated like petals caught in a breeze, hints of disbelief mixed with curiosity. Sarah, called out Emily, her neighbor and old friend. What is happening? Is it Mark? Mark is with us, Sarah replied, her voice steady amidst the rising wind. God has spoken to us. There's a calling for all of you. Come, gather around. She could see the hesitant footsteps, the upon the threshold thoughts wrapping them in uncertainty. Yet, she knew this was a moment to share the flame. A flicker of hope transformed into a blaze of collective belief. Please, Sarah continued, come closer. We have witnessed a miracle, and now we must prepare for what is to come. Noah jumped up, his little hands waving. Daddy's awake. We prayed, and God listened. His innocent proclamation sliced through the air and stirred the hearts of the onlookers, invoking a chorus of gasps and soft whispers of recognition. Mark's presence was becoming stronger with each step he took outside. The villagers gathered, curious faces painted with trepidation, giving way to a new sense of hope. They hissed softly among themselves, some, like Sarah, believing they could forge a brighter path together, while others wavered, caught in the storm of their doubts. Faith sometimes reveals the most in the face of uncertainty, Sarah thought. Her heart swelling with the realization that this moment was profound, was the beginning of a journey that required bravery from each of them. Then the wind shifted, a sudden gust causing hair to whip around faces and hearts. The thunder rumbled once more, closer now, like the growl of a great beast. Yet, in that tension, something divine was settling in, illuminating the path ahead. The storm would not simply destroy, it could also cleanse and reveal. "Let us pray." Mark's voice boomed with an urgency that resonated with the crowd, drawing them into the circle that formed naturally. Sarah felt the warmth of faith weaving through them, a tapestry of human connection ignited by shared belief. They all bowed their heads, hands clasped, as Mark led them into a chorus of prayer that flowed like music amidst the chaotic winds. As each word escaped his lips, it was as though a sacred light shone between them, holding the darkness at bay. But just as a flicker of doubt surfaced, a brilliant flash of lightning streaked across the sky. The air crackled, electric with promise and fear, setting the stage for the moments to come. In the eye of the storm, a subtle hush fell upon the crowd, a solemn moment before the first droplets of rain began to fall. Their prayers melded with the sound of drumming thunder, creating an anthem of hope and resistance. Together, Sarah whispered, fueled by the belief they had reignited, "We'll face whatever comes next." And just like that, as the villagers began to lift their faces toward the darkening clouds, anticipation gripped Sarah's heart. The storm, it seemed, had lessons wrapped within its fury. With a collective deep breath, they stood on the precipice of something greater, unaware that their faith was about to be tested in ways they could never foresee. What revelations awaited them as this spiritual tempest raged? As the first drops of rain splashed onto the ground, a palpable shift occurred within the crowd. The heavens opened, soaking the earth with the promise of renewal. Yet amidst the growing storm, a warmth blossomed in their hearts, a connection stronger than fear. "Look!" shouted Emily, pointing skyward. The lightning had not shattered the atmosphere. Rather, it illuminated their spirits, revealing a brilliance that entangled with their prayers. Sarah squinted against the brightness and saw a shape forming above, a spiral of light dancing in the drenching rain. "That's something," whispered Mark, awe-coloring his voice. It was more than an optical illusion. It was a divine echo of their unity, a sign that they were not alone. Each drop, each flash, felt like a heartbeat of God affirming their mission. The villagers gasped. Drops turned to a steady rain, and with it came a cleansing. "God's presence is here," Sarah exclaimed, her voice rising above the thunder, fueling their resolve. The atmosphere charged with energy, stirring old wounds and deep-seated fears within them, yet igniting a desire for healing. "Feel that?" Mark said, looking at Sarah, eyes wide with recognition. "It's like he's saying yes." They stood together, hands intertwined, a physical manifestation of community forged in faith. Walt, a local farmer, stepped forward. "I have doubts," he confessed, voice trembling. "But I want to believe. I've forgotten how." "Then let us remember together," Sarah replied, urging him gently. "We're rising from the ashes of uncertainty. Let us share in this moment." With their hands still locked, they began to sing. Tentative at first, then stronger, voices rose to the heavens, harmonizing with the rain. The melody carried hope and love, a spiritual symphony resonating in rhythm with the storm around them. It felt right. The clouds were no longer a threat, but an embrace. The echoes of their song seemed to reach even beyond their village, drifting across the hills and valleys, calling forth every heart hungering for peace. Suddenly, amidst the tempest, a moment of silence encompassed them. The rain paused, leaving only the distant rumble of the storm. In that silence, a soft whisper brushed by Sarah's ear, "Take courage, I am with you." She felt an inexplicable warmth fill her heart. Could it be? Noah, childlike and earnest, looked up at his parents, eyes shining bright. "Mummy, is God really speaking to us?" Absolutely, sweet boy, Sarah replied, tears glistening. He is here, listening. Moments turned into an eternity as they waited, hearts pounding with expectation. Then, out of the darkness, came a voice, a deep, resonant sound that echoed the very essence of creation. You are beloved, it breathed. Together, you will forge a new path. I am entrusting you with a message. The crowd swelled with wonder, uncertainty hanging in the air like mist. What message? Someone dared to ask, barely above a whisper. Sarah felt the weight of the moment press on her shoulders, the truth teetering on the brink of revelation. She opened her mouth to speak, but the wind whipped suddenly, carrying the voice into the ether, leaving them suspended between what they heard and what they hoped to know. As the rain began again, this time more gently, a singular, beautiful thought echoed in her mind. But what God had not yet revealed with that, a sense of urgency flickered among the villagers. They were now standing on the edge of something monumental. Would they step forward into the unknown together? And what divine messages awaited them when they did? A gentle hush enveloped the crowd as the rain softened into a delicate patter. Sarah could feel the weight of anticipation pressing against her chest. Around her, faces glowed with fervent hope, mirroring the spark igniting in her own heart. Together, we can listen, she encouraged, her voice steadying with faith. With every drop that kissed the earth, the connection among them deepened, rooting them in a love far beyond their individual struggles. Mark stepped closer to Sarah, his eyes reflecting the light above, whispering, "What if this is our chance, Sarah? To turn our fears into faith?" His earnest question hung in the air like incense rising in prayer. "Then let us not waste it," she replied, feeling emboldened. "Let us trust that God will guide us." The words flowed from her heart, illuminating the path that lay ahead. In that moment, Emily raised her hands heavenward, soaking in the moment of divine presence. "Let us share our burdens," she exclaimed. "Let us take turns speaking our truth." Voices began to rise, each sharing their weariness and dreams, their past pains and hopes for the future. Walt, still trembling with uncertainty, found himself standing at the forefront. "I'm scared," he confessed, tears spilling. "I fear failure, of becoming lost again. But I want to believe in something real, something greater." As he spoke, more voices joined in, wrapping the air with confessions of doubt and longing. Each heartfelt sharing added to the gentle symphony weaving through the rain. The songs of their struggles formed a tapestry of community, their individual threads uniting. Then, like a soft breeze through an open window, a vision emerged in Sarah's mind, vivid and alive. She saw the villagers scattered across the fields, planting seeds of hope, each seed a prayer a promise waiting to bloom. What if she began? Excitement sparkled in her voice. What if our message is just that? A call to plant seeds of faith in our hearts and in our village? A chorus of murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Yes," cried Emily. "Let us water those seeds through our faith." As if responding, the rain grew slightly heavier again, and Sarah marveled. The drops felt like blessings showering upon them, a divine acknowledgement of their resolve. But then, the deep voice spoke once more from outside their hearing, reverberating through them like rolling thunder. "You are called to refresh the weary, to show love unconditionally, to be my steadfast light." The words hung in the air, inviting them to contemplate their purpose anew. There was a power in the promise, a collective recognition that they were not merely individuals, but a movement, a wave of change gently sweeping across the land. Tears flowed freely now, washing away their insecurities. They could sense, even in their flesh, the hints of the extraordinary journey God was unveiling. With renewed energy, they joined together once again in song, voices rising like incense filling the temple. But just as the crowd began to lose themselves in the melody, a sudden hush froze their moment of camaraderie. Something remarkable stirred amongst them, hovering just at the edge of the spiritual realm, waiting. "What is next?" Mark whispered, his eyes searching back and forth among the villagers. Reflecting on the message, a quiet yet profound truth settled upon Sarah. "We have to prepare," she murmured, "for what we sow today will be our harvest tomorrow." As the rain transformed into a light mist, veiling their surroundings, Sarah felt a tingling at the back of her mind. What awaited them beyond the mist? She pondered, glancing at the deepening clouds above, sensing there was something more, something waiting to be discovered. And as she did, the stirring winds began to shift. Would they be brave enough to embrace what lay ahead? The path was uncertain, but perhaps therein lay the heart of God's plan. As the mist swirled around them, whispers of concern rippled through the crowd. Each person felt the air grow thick with expectation, as though the heavens themselves were leaning closer to listen. Sarah's heart raced. There was a call, an invitation, beckoning them to unlock the mysteries beneath the veil of uncertainty. "Let us take a moment to breathe," Sarah suggested, lifting her voice gently above the hushed murmurs. "Let us focus on the presence among us." The villagers, sensing the need for stillness, drew in deep breaths. Together, they closed their eyes, allowing the cool mist to settle on their faces like a gentle promise. Mark reached out, finding Sarah's hand. Their fingers intertwined, a silent reassurance. He opened his heart to the gathering. "In this stillness, let us listen," he urged softly. "Let us tune our ears to what God wants us to hear." Slowly, as if guided by an unseen hand, a hush enveloped them, while the light flickered overhead, casting soft shadows against the trees. Each soul within the circle began to feel a stirring, a sense of readiness to witness something miraculous. Then, it happened. An unexpected sound broke the silence, gentle chimes, delicate like crystal. The villagers exchanged glances, eyes widening in shared wonder. It was a sound neither of worldly origin nor entirely familiar, yet it felt rich with divine significance. "Look!" someone gasped, pointing toward the sky as a burst of light shimmered through the mist. It appeared as if the clouds were parting, revealing a hidden layer beyond what was previously seen. An ethereal glow cascaded down upon them, bathing the community in warmth, igniting their spirits. "Do not be afraid," the voice echoed deeply again, but this time clearer, more intimate. "I am with you. Your prayers are heard. The seeds you sow will flourish. You are not alone." Those words hung like fragrant incense in the air, filling the hearts with a blend of awe and gratitude. Emily started to cry, overcome with emotion. "It's real. He is really here with us," she exclaimed, her voice barely a whisper, yet bursting with joy. Walt, still trembling, took a step forward. "What do we do now? How do we nurture the seeds we've planted?" His question hung in the air, palpable and heavy with urgency. Sarah, emboldened by the love that enveloped them, said, "We ask. We seek guidance and wisdom. For he has shown us the path, and we trust he will guide our steps." Her voice grew stronger with every word, layered with the compelling energy of divine hope that a murmur of agreement swept through the crowd. They began expressing their desires, their dreams for what they wanted to see flourish in their community. To heal the broken, to inspire the lost, to spread true love. Voices blended together, forming an energetic rhythm, like the heartbeat of their village. Suddenly, the light pulsed softly, illuminating the ground where they stood. With every shared prayer, the earth beneath them began to shimmer as if the seeds themselves were awakening, rooted in their collective bravery and commitment. Mark looked around, his heart swelling with pride. "See this," he exclaimed. "What we've begun here, united in spirit, is far greater than we imagined." As the vibrant energy surged, the mist started to lift, revealing paths branching out ahead, each one an invitation to deeper faith, deeper service. In that pregnant moment, a profound realization dawned on Sarah. "The next step is ours to take," she said, her voice steady and wise. The air hummed with potential, but we must be brave enough to walk into the unknown together. The community held their breath, anticipation alight in their eyes. What awaited them on those paths? What new challenges, revelations, or miracles? The answer lingered just out of reach, swirling in the soft breeze that wrapped around them. And in that moment, as their hearts beat as one, Sarah felt the exhilarating weight of their calling deepening. Ready or not, a journey of understanding and love was unfolding. What awaited them lay beyond their wildest dreams. Would they step forward, hands clasped in faith? As the light bathed the villagers, it felt almost tangible, a radiant encouragement igniting their spirits anew. Sarah, feeling the pulse of hope coursing through her veins, turned to Mark, his face alight with anticipation. Which path will we choose? She whispered, her voice a soft thread intertwining with the collective breath of their gathering. Mark squeezed her hand gently. I believe it will be revealed to us, piece by piece, he assured her. The words hung in the air, holding a promise, waiting for their hearts to echo back with faith. Just then, a young boy named Samuel stepped forward, his eyes wide with innocence and clarity. What if we choose the path that seems the hardest? He asked, his voice cutting through the silence. Maybe that's where we'll find the most growth. A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd as they considered his point. Ah, the wisdom of the young, Emily proclaimed, wiping her tears, her heart swelling with pride for the brave boy. To embrace challenge means to grow closer to our true selves and our Creator. Sarah nodded in unison with the sentiments shared. We honor God by embracing the unknown, she proclaimed. It's in that uncertainty we often meet Him most profoundly. As they spoke, the shimmering light began to pulse more rapidly, almost as if in rhythm with their dialogue. It was captivating, like a heartbeat that resonated deep within, echoing the sacred vibrations of their shared purpose. Another villager named Rebecca, known for her deep sense of intuition, raised her hands. Maybe we should ask the mist itself, she suggested. It blankets us in mystery. Let us invite its wisdom. The group grew silent once more, the air thickening with expectancy. All eyes turned to the swirling mist enveloping them, wrapped tightly around their hearts and hopes. It seemed to shimmer in response, swirling with intent, crafting shapes and patterns as if dancing to the unspoken prayers of the villagers. Suddenly, the mist parted in a way that revealed a twisting path, adorned with vibrant flowers breaking through the soil. That may be our answer, Sarah shouted, her spirit electric with excitement. Mark took a step forward, gazing into the newly revealed path. It's enchanting. What if it represents our journey, blossoming as we follow our faith? Yes, Emily shouted, her voice rising with joy. Let us go. Let us take that first step. With every murmuring agreement, the villagers shifted as one, excitement sparking between them. Hearts pounding, hands clasped, they felt the collective energy draw them forward, courageous and unified. They stepped gingerly onto the path, each footfall resonating with the promise of growth. They moved with purpose. The mist began to enshroud them again, now weaving around their footsteps while echoing softly, like whispers of encouragement, affirming their decisions, the steps of faith they embraced together. However, just beyond where the flowers bloomed, the pathway began to darken. A chilling breeze brushed against their cheeks, and doubt crept in, a whisper in the corners of their minds. What lies ahead? Mark turned, his voice heavy with uncertainty. What if we stumble? Fear not, Sarah shouted, her heart resolute. For every challenge is an invitation to lean deeper into our faith. But even as she spoke, shadows loomed closer to the path's entrance, a flicker of apprehension that danced in the rapid heartbeat of the crowd. Could they face what lay ahead, and would their faith hold firm against the unknown? As they prepared to continue, the villagers felt a compelling urgency within, the air thick with anticipation. Hope glimmered like stars against the encroaching darkness. But would that light be enough? And just like that, enveloped by the coiling mist, and with the weight of their collective determination, Sarah knew their journey was only beginning. What awaited them on the path ahead? Would the light within them be enough to illuminate the shadows that lingered, whispering challenges they had yet to face? With hearts racing, the villagers stepped onto the path, a tapestry of light and shadow that beckoned them forward. The enchanting blooms shone bright against the encroaching darkness, each blossom a reminder of their purpose. Sarah took a deep breath, inhaling the sweetness of hope mixed with the musty scent of uncertainty. Mark walked beside her, his presence a grounding force. This path, it feels alive, he murmured, his eyes scanning the vibrant flowers. Like it knows us. Perhaps it does, Sarah replied softly. Perhaps it knows the struggles we carry and the faith we've ignited. The darkness seemed to tremble at their courage. As they ventured deeper, the whispers of the mist surrounded them, weaving through their thoughts. You are not alone, it seemed to say, a gentle reminder echoing in their hearts. The chill flickered against Sarah's spine, and the first doubt surfaced. But what if we fail? The question slipped from her lips like a timid breeze. She glanced at the villagers, their faces a kaleidoscope of hope and fear. Would their collective faith stand firm when faced with the unknown? Do not let fear cloud your vision, called Samuel, the young boy who had sparked their journey. His voice was unwavering. Remember why we are here. Each step we take is a testament to our faith. His words poured warmth back into the group. They nodded, an unspoken agreement settling amongst them. The murmurs of reassurance began to swell like a wave, pushing away the remnants of hesitation. Look, Emily pointed excitedly towards the end of the path. Something shimmered in the distance, a faint glow like starlight cascading down toward them. What could it be? With renewed strength, they pressed onward, drawn by the luminous invitation. The further they walked, the more the mist began to swirl in intricate patterns, forming shapes almost like hands raising in worship, a divine dance guiding them closer to enlightenment. As they arrived at the source of the light, the atmosphere shifted. A clearing opened up before them, revealing a crystal-clear pool, shimmering beneath the moonlight. The water danced like liquid silver, captivating and serene. "Goddess presence is here," whispered Rebecca, her eyes wide with wonder. "This is a sacred space." The villagers gathered around the pool, feeling its serenity wash over them. A collective sigh escaped their lips, mingling with the cool night air. Suddenly, the gentle breeze carried with its sacred words that slipped into their hearts trust in the journey. "Look," Mark pointed to the surface of the water, where images began to appear. Faces of loved ones lost, moments of joy and anguish, laughter, tears, all swirling and merging in a tapestry of life. God has been with us through it all. Filling their spirits with nostalgia and gratitude, the villagers felt their hearts expand. They realized that every struggle, every joy was part of their journey, a thread in the broader tapestry of faith. Yet, beneath this beauty, uncertainty lingered. "What now?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling with both excitement and apprehension. "What are we called to do in this moment?" The glow of the pool began to fade, as if waiting for a response. The villagers exchanged glances, uncertainty weaving through their expressions. As they stood together, their collective breath rose and fell softly, each aware that the path didn't end here. What divine revelation awaited them on this night? Would the light of faith pierce through the inevitable shadows ahead? As they absorbed the sacred atmosphere, the air thickened with possibilities, and every heart beat with a question, echoing the mystery of the path still to unfold. What choice would they make next, and how would it shape their journey? Sarah stood at the edge of the crystal-clear pool, the shimmering surface reflecting the starlit sky above. Her heart raced, mirroring the anticipation that hung in the air. The revelations shared among the villagers felt like the heartbeat of the community, pulsing together in faith. They were so close, yet still felt the weight of uncertainty lurking at their doorsteps like shadows creeping in the night. "Together, we've come this far," Mark spoke, his voice steady, filled with hope. "But we must decide how to honor this moment. What will we do with the knowledge we have been given?" The villagers leaned in, their eyes shimmering with curiosity and fear. They had witnessed a miracle Mark's recovery, the awakening of their spirits, but what next? What awaited them beyond the radiant glow of the pool? "Let us share what we're afraid of," Emily suggested, her voice soft yet strong. "Our fears won't control us if we bring them to the light." Sarah felt a surge of confidence wash over her. Addressing the unspoken fears could empower them on this journey. Voices began to surface. "I fear being forgotten," Walt confessed, his voice breaking slightly. "That my efforts won't matter." "I fear I'll stumble again," Rebecca added, her gaze falling to the ground. "What if I can't hold on to this faith?" One by one, the villagers poured forth their apprehensions, weaving a tapestry of vulnerability in the space around them. As Sarah listened, she felt a kindling warmth growing inside her, a deep-rooted belief rising to the surface. "We carry these fears, but they do not define us," she said, her voice rising above the murmurs. "What if we use them to push forward instead of holding us back? We can forge a new path through our fears." The pool shimmered brighter, as if responding to her words. A soft ripple spread across its surface, igniting a new energy within the gathering. "Together, let us turn our fears into fuel," Mark chimed in, a smile growing on his face. "We can create something beautiful from this darkness. Let us embrace trust, each and every one of us. Slowly, a shift occurred. The weight of apprehension began lifting, replaced by a blossoming hope. The villagers felt a pulse connecting them, each heartbeat resonating with the others, a collective spirit shining brighter with each affirmation. Sarah smiled brightly. "Let us make a pledge," she exclaimed, fueling the spirit of unity. "A promise to direct our fear toward love and action, to lift each other up, and to not falter in faith." As they clasped hands, a remarkable stillness enveloped them, uniting their intentions in an unwavering bond. The water shimmered more intensely, giving off a radiant glow that felt alive, almost sentient. In that sacred moment, they witnessed the reflection of their collective spirit illuminating the depths of the pool, awakening them to the beauty of their calling. "Let us then seek ways to serve our community moving forward," Emily proposed, confidence bubbling within her. "Together, let us heed the call. We've seen divine power manifest among us. Let us reach out and heal the brokenhearted, feed the hungry, and share our light far beyond these shores." "Yes," came the chorus of voices, stronger now. They could feel the possibility of transformation erupting from the depths of their souls, a realization washing over them. This moment was not just for them. It was for every heart in their village, every soul waiting to embrace hope. As they began to rise from the pool's edge, a storm in the distance cracked thunder, but it no longer felt threatening. They were ready to meet it with open arms. With every step they took back towards their village, the clouds above began to break, revealing rays of golden sunlight streaming down, touching their faces, a sign of blessings to come. In unison, they prayed once more, hands intertwined, a circle of love enveloping them. As the pool shimmered behind, reflecting the heavens above, they made their way toward the heart of their village, their collective voice echoing not just through the streets, but into the dawn of a new era. "Let us shine. Together, let us rise together," Sarah proclaimed, her heart filled with jubilation. And through each step forward, they carried with them the divine presence they had witnessed, determined to nurture the seeds of faith they had planted. Inspired and emboldened by their journey, they embraced the uncertainty, prepared to illuminate the darkness with their unwavering light. This was the moment of divine transformation. Their collective resolve would shape a new community, one woven together through shared faith, hope, and love. As they reached the heart of the village, a wave of warmth washed over them. Their journey was only beginning, but they were ready together. Remember, dear friends, this is not just a story, it's a reminder of the power within us all to create change. If you felt inspired, if you believe in the message that's unfolding here, you need to subscribe now to keep this divine journey alive. Hit that like button to share the light with others. Comment below with your experiences and testimonies about faith. Let your voice be heard. And for the love of God, share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this manifestation now. Don't hesitate. The time to act is right now. Join us, spread the word, and together we will shine brighter than we ever thought possible.